You're listening to the Small Business Talk podcast with Cathy Smith.
Small Business Talk is a podcast for business owners and entrepreneurs who want a better way to run their businesses without spending years doing it the hard way. Small Business Talk is hosted by Cathy Smith, who has run the same marketing agency for more than 17 years and helped hundreds of business owners achieve their marketing goals.
Welcome to Small Business Talk, episode 141. Ever wondered why you can remember a story and the point it made, but not a joke and the punchline? Today, I want to talk about story-based selling. Stories go way back. They are how we have learnt for thousands of years. All the important messages were relayed by stories. Stories are 22 times more memorable than just facts. Stories allow us to create pictures in our brains, and then we can remember the main points more easily. We all love a good movie, and it's all about the main character and their stories. Remember back at school when you learnt through images, stories and patterns? Did you learn your colours of the rainbow by ROY G BIV? Or maybe my very excellent mother just sent us Noodles for the planets, now that there's no Pluto, of course. Rhythms and mnemonics help us to create stories that we can remember. Are you a big rock person? A professor stands up in front of his class with a large empty pasta jar. He fills the jar to the top with large rocks and asks his students, is it full? His students agree that the jar is now full. He then adds small pebbles to the jar and they fall in between the rocks. He gives it a bit of a shake and more pebbles fall through. And now he asks them, is it full? Once again, the students agree that the jar is now full. The professor puts the jar on the table and fills it with sand and gives it a really good shake so it can fill all the empty spaces. Is it full? He asks. And the students now definitely think it's full. And for his very last trick, he pours water into the jar to remove all the remaining air. So as you can see, there is so much more that went into that pasta jar than originally thought. And our marketing is made up of things like that. 3 things basically. The big and important things that mean the most, the small things that still matter, and the rest that shouldn't be done or should have been delegated. If you pour too much sand into your jar, you'll never have space for the rocks. To add the water first would mean that you would miss out on so much of the important stuff. So is social media your water? Are you spending way too much time thinking, researching, playing, and not implementing your marketing? Do you know what rocks you should be using in your business? Emotions sell. Selling isn't about buying, it's about feeling. Jeff Bloomfield said in his book, Story-Based Selling. So why are we always focused on trying to sell the features and the benefits of our products? We know that emotions sell, but feelings are so much harder to describe and tap into. Or are they? Make things memorable by linking them to stories. It's so much better. All we have to do is tell stories, but not any old story. A story that has meaning and is relatable to your audience. How can you make this work for you? What problems do your customers have? What problems does your solution solve? Instead of listing out your features and benefits, think about what your customer will actually get. An IT person might say, our product includes antivirus software. Boring. What they could say is our product protects your computer and gives you peace of mind so that you are safe from malicious attacks. Well, that's better. What about last week we installed our new Safe and Secure product into Tom's local lawn mowing shop. Tom has been in business many years and was worried about his computers being hacked, his customer data being compromised, and whatever else might be out there. Now Tom knows that he is protected, and he even has a reliable backup to reinstate his data if something goes wrong. What do you think? Does that sound a bit better? By telling you about Tom, you are starting to share a picture, a story. You might even be able to see yourself as Tom or in a similar situation. Stories really do matter, and stories help sell. Emotions buy. Stories take us out of our logical brain to where we can analyse everything to the point of paralysis, and into our emotional brain where the decision to buy just feels right. The emotional brain has no capacity for language, Simon Sinek told us, and that is why we often buy on a gut feeling and then try to rationalise it later, which can turn into buyer's remorse, and that's another story for another time. Emotions sell and allow us to buy because they invoke a feeling in us. Coffee at an open house, FOMO, fear of missing out, envy, if I don't, they will, they already are, pleasure, oh, I look so good in that, pride, how good will this be, and many more. This is why we buy into businesses and their why. It's their story, and we want to know more. Simon uses lots of stories in his book Why, so that we will remember the main points. We will remember why Apple is a leader in their space and how they were able to overcome the challenges and become more than just a computer company, when a lot of their competitors weren't and are still just a computer company. Stories and emotions are why people watch so much reality TV and why some people are so obsessed with selfies. Real always sells better because we want to have a little window into their story, see what they're doing, what it's all about, and do we trust them? Do we resonate with them? Are they the people for us? Stories in your marketing, it makes all the difference. But how can you bring more stories into your marketing? Think about your story. What elements can you use? How and why did you start your business? What are you doing for your customers? What are your success stories, case studies? What your customers will get when they buy your product, and I don't just mean the features. I am the granddaughter of an artist, and design has been my whole life. At the beginning of my business, I relied heavily on word-of-mouth referrals to bring in new customers. As I wanted to expand, I did what most small businesses do, hit and miss marketing. I chased the shiny objects and I spent thousands of dollars on training on the new latest thing. And that worked for a while. I was tired and struggling to get ahead. Does that sound familiar? You've probably done it too. Then I got my first employee and it all had to change. Want to know more? Well, you'll have to go over to my website, catcoent.com.au, and check out the About Us page. But you've bought into my story. You can see why marketing and design is so much of my life. And you might read a bit more and find out a few other things about my story. I hope you enjoyed my story and will continue to read. Do you need help with your marketing? Do you want to know how to put story into it? DM me or jump over to my website, catcoent.com.au, and let's have a chat. And let's see where your stories can take you, and the stories of your customers will help grow your business. Until next week, stay safe and enjoy the journey, SPT audience. Don't forget to subscribe to Small Business Talk podcast and head on over to smallbusinestalk.com.au/downloads for all the show notes and links to this episode. Remember, to be great, you must start. Pick one tip from today's episode, take action and implement it. Let's meet again next week at the same time and place. Until then, take action. And SBT community, enjoy your journey.